Hello, hockey fans. This is Sam Paolini. Most of you know me as Sammy P. Coming at you with my third show today, Thursday, October 27th, 2011. Going over all the games from last night in the NHL, all the games tonight in the NHL. We have a lot of them tonight. We have 11 on tap. So, without further ado, let's go over last night's game. Yesterday we talked about Montreal and how Montreal and Calgary were in a must-win type situation at home. Montreal gets the 5-1 victory over Philadelphia. Interesting to note that Montreal fired Perry Pern, the assistant coach in Montreal, before the game during the afternoon, which is kind of a surprise that he was fired and Martin was not fired. But nevertheless, it gave them a little jump. Was expecting a big game from Montreal, and that's exactly what we saw. Wasn't expecting Max Pacioretty to play. We said yesterday that wasn't expecting him to play. Came through big time for them, suited up, chipped in 2 goals and an assist. And I mean, what can you say about Carey Price? He was great in net as well. Philly, I thought, looked a little lackadaisical at times. I thought Bryzgalov was completely outplayed in net by Price, and they just didn't look. They didn't look like themselves in that game, and I think that has a lot to do with Chris Pronger. I mentioned it yesterday, so we'll see how Montreal does today in Boston, and Philly does today at home against Winnipeg. Also, the other game, Calgary hosted Colorado. So that was also a must-win game from Calgary. They came out on top 4-2 on home ice to snap Colorado's 6-game away unbeaten streak. I thought that it's tough to say it's a must-win this early in the season, but you'll hear this a lot from me, and I'm not contradicting myself when I say that I like a team on a specific night like Calgary or Winnipeg, teams that I don't think are playoff teams by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think they have the talent to compete over the long haul, game in, game out, over the entire course of an NHL season. But it's important to look at each game being mutually exclusive from the others and mutually exclusive from the whole season, and really nailing down the variables that come into play on any given night. So even though I don't like Calgary for the entire year, I thought they were in a good spot last night against Colorado. And that being said, Colorado looked very disinterested last night to me. I thought they played very lax on defense. They gave up way too many chances. And mark my words, this game is going to be a turning point for Colorado here. And I think this is a good spot that to start fading Colorado going forward. Moving on to the Blues, shutting out the Canucks 3-0 on Vancouver's home ice. I said it yesterday. I said it all. I've been saying it all year. Don't sleep on this St. Louis Blues team. They have what it takes to make a run in the West. I don't think they're an elite team yet, but certainly they're a second-tier team in the Western Conference and in the NHL. But that's not to say that they're not capable of being an elite team by the end of the season. So, Vancouver did look a bit. To their defense, they did look a bit fatigued last night after trying to come back against Edmonton the night before. But don't take anything away from the Blues and goaltender Brian Elliott, who's now 4-0 in net this season for the Blues. He's won the last 3 games for this Blues team as well. So some people are saying that Coach Davis Payne has a goaltending controversy with Halak in net, and in my mind, you go with the hot hand. The guy's 4-0. He's won the last 3 games for you. You don't change anything on that lineup until you lose a game. And so, Elliott goes into San Jose and wins. He goes into Philadelphia and wins. He goes into Vancouver and wins. Those are tough places to play and tough places to win. You go into those places, that's kind of hard stuff to ignore. So stick with Elliott here, ride him out, keep that same lineup, St. Louis, and keep cashing those underdogs. All right, moving on. We have 11 games tonight. Hopefully, I'll be as brief as I can with these babies. But you know me, sometimes I like to. I can't help myself, and I get talking on tangents. Anyway, Winnipeg at Philadelphia tonight. I mentioned earlier, I don't like this Winnipeg team this year. In fact, 2 of the biggest predictions I had this season were the Jets to go under 83.5 wins, and the Florida Panthers to go over 83.5 points. Points under 83.5 points for the Jets and over 83.5 points for Florida. But that being said, you have to take each game for what it is. And I think the Jets are in the best possible situation they could ask for coming in to face Philadelphia. I don't think they'd face a weaker Philadelphia team throughout the course of the year. Philly without Pronger, playing up in Montreal last night, had to travel back overnight, looked absolutely awful last night, and now they've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they come home to try to right the ship against Winnipeg. Winnipeg's also lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they start a long road trip tonight. But they're rested, whereas Philly was, playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, travel in between each of them. Look out for Winnipeg tonight. I think they're a live dog here, especially with the backup for Bobrovsky. More than likely to get the start in Philadelphia. Not positive. Haven't seen. Only a few goaltenders announcements have been made at this time, this early in the morning. But I'm expecting Bobrovsky to play for the Flyers tonight, and I have a feeling they're going to give Briscoe a rest. So take a hard look at Winnipeg tonight when those goalie matchups come out. Columbus at Buffalo. Columbus comes into Buffalo for winning their first game of the year, beating Detroit 4-1 at home the other night. Looked like a little different team with Wisniewski in the lineup. That being said, they don't have their full depth with Carter still out. I think this game is more about Buffalo, what they want to do tonight. They can only really beat themselves in my mind in the NHL this season. And after losing their only 2 home games, losing to Carolina, losing to Tampa Bay 4-3 the other night, you have to think that Buffalo's going to come out being focused for this one. They did lose to Tampa 4-3, but in that game, they were never out of it. They got up early 2-0, went down 3-2, and they fired 17 shots on goal in the 3rd, trying to come back and really pepper in that net. And so it's not like they were out of the whole game and playing poor hockey. They were really they were just a little unfortunate around the net, burying their chances. One note that Ryan Miller is not in net tonight for the Sabres. Lindy Ruff deciding to go with Enroth. But to be honest, like I said, I don't think it really is going to make a difference tonight in this situation. I think it's all about how motivated the forwards and defensemen are going to be for Buffalo. My feeling is that Lindy Ruff will have these guys. He'll have these guys chomping at the bit tonight. Montreal at Boston. Montreal comes into Boston, and I love all the talking heads at ESPN and TSN, and all they want to talk about is the hit Chara put on Pasquarelli last year, and in game the 7-game series they went to, and it's all, in my mind, it means nothing. It's just, all it is controversy that gets them talking. How much does it really affect the game tonight from our perspective, what we care about? And so I don't really put much weight overall into it. Yes, there is a tiny bit of revenge factor, but I mean, let's be honest, a lot of that stuff goes out the window. I think that, I'm worried more about tonight is a letdown spot for Montreal. Yes, they had a huge win, 5-1 last night, to get to kind of, I wouldn't say right the ship just yet, but they faced the Philadelphia team that was a little weaker than normal. They are playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. Montreal is, and so with travel in between, how ready are they going to be playing tonight in Boston? Are they for real? 3-5 to start the year, and I think that's about right for this team. I thought they came into this year way overrated, vastly overvalued, and they're showing it so far. That being said, I really want no part of this game. Not really sure what we're going to get from Montreal, and just what my gut says it's going to be a little letdown spot for them. Toronto at the New York Rangers. Rangers finally getting a home game tonight in Madison Square Garden. Garden should be rocking tonight for the Rangers as they come off a very successful road trip, going 3-1 in Canada. I thought they were gonna do well on that trip. They did come out 3-1, winning in Vancouver, winning in Winnipeg, losing against Edmonton, and beating Calgary. Toronto comes in dealing with some injuries to start the season. But it looks like they might get Tim Connolly back tonight. Haven't heard complete confirmation from that. So, like I said, it's a little early right now. So stay tuned and take a look at the ticker before you make any decisions on this game. Just that alone, and the other condition of Reimer and net is something that kind of wants to keep me off this game. It's just with those two. Those two guys, not sure who's going to start, who's going to play. It's just I don't want any part of not knowing. That those are too big of factors not to know before making a decision on this game. That being said, I really like New York this season. I just think that they're a little more consistent defensively than Toronto. I think you have to give them an edge in this game just based solely on that factor alone, that they are a little more consistent defensively, and it is the opening night in the Garden for the Blue Shirts. So moving on to New York Islanders at Pittsburgh. These two teams played Monday night in Long Island. I mentioned on the show that I thought we would see a little higher scoring game in that one, especially with Malkin coming back into the lineup. But a 3-0 Pittsburgh victory had me scratching my head. I thought Malkin looked great in that game. That was his first game coming back from an injury. I mentioned how good the power play is for both teams, but each team only got 2 chances on the man advantage in that game, and generally you will never see a higher scoring game when you have only 4 power plays total in a game like that. So both teams rested, ready to go. They haven't played since Monday or Tuesday. I forget which day. Everything's kind of coming together right now, but so there should be no excuses for each side. I think both will come out ready to play tonight. It's kind of that old adage: "Fool me once, shame on you." Islanders and Penguins, fool me twice here, it's shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm a freaking idiot. So let's hope that the Islanders can penetrate this Pittsburgh defense, and I see no reason why we won't see some fireworks tonight if they do. Florida at Ottawa. Big win for Florida in Montreal Monday night, where Markstrom stole the game for them, stood on his head. Kid's been playing great in goal, second behind only Jonathan Quick in goals against average and save percentage going into this game. Big win for Ottawa in Carolina. They gave up a 2-goal lead late, but ended up winning in a shootout, which is a big win for them. That makes it 3 straight wins for Ottawa, 2 straight now for Florida. Ottawa may get Daniel Alfredsson back in the lineup tonight, which can only help their offense. Not sure completely if he is a go. I'd wait till the lineups come out to see if he's in. I have a feeling that he will be in the lineup but if he is, I'm not sure he's going to be at 100%. But any offense in that lineup can help them score. 2 very underrated teams, going at it tonight. I think both power plays hitting at over 30% in their last 5 games. But at the same time, both penalty kills giving up over 30% on the opportunity. So to say that special teams is going to play a major role in this game is an understatement. Generally, when we see stats like penalty kill less than 70% and power play is higher than 30%, you're going to see a high scoring game. But the way the Florida goaltender Markstrom's been playing in Theodore's. During Theodore's injury is I'm in no hurry to say that kid's going to let up a bunch of goals tonight. So moving on to Tampa Bay and Nashville. I mentioned Tuesday that I thought Tampa Bay could get by Buffalo. If they could get by Buffalo, it would give them a spark going forward, give them some confidence. They came back, beat Buffalo in that game 4-3, held on to win their 3rd straight game now. But their defense is just still concerning to me, and I think it should be to you too. If you saw that game in Buffalo, you understand that this defense is not top in the league. They're bottom 3rd in the league, if that. And so I think this game in Nashville can go one of 2 ways tonight. I've already mentioned multiple times on this show that the inability of Nashville to score goals and really create offense, and they've scored only 1.4 goals in their last 5 games, and but to their defense, they've played some pretty good defensive teams in San Jose, Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton, and New Jersey, and so they finally face a bottom tier defensive team in Tampa Bay. I can make the argument, and I can see that their offense finally breaking out tonight, and having enough defense to hold on, goaltending to hold off Tampa Bay and slow them down. So it's a possibility that their offense does break out tonight. On the other hand, I think, I said it, I'm not going to go back on it. I think that win against Buffalo by Tampa Bay is going to get the ball rolling for them a little bit here. And I'm in no position to go against them. I think it's going to be a close 1-goal game. I foresee that. I think we'll see a bit of a higher scoring game than most would think with these 2 teams. So, look for that's 2 things to take notice of is how Tampa Bay's defense going to play, and will Nashville take advantage of that? Anaheim at Minnesota, very close, very, very close to coming out here hyping up Anaheim and saying this is a perfect spot for them against a poor Minnesota club, and blah blah blah. But then I remember they're Anaheim, and I have no idea what to expect from them. Generally, this would be a complete play against Minnesota, and a spot for me, since in my mind they're one of the worst teams in the NHL, one of the worst teams in the West this season. They've done nothing to improve their offense and play an up-tempo style of play that their organization said they would. They have no real identity right now. So a game like this, where Anaheim definitely has the class and more talent on paper, but they come in losing 3 straight games, and I don't think I want to be backing a team that's lost 3 straight games either. So with 11 games on the board tonight, I think there's plenty of other spots for to look. So moving on to Los Angeles at Dallas. Los Angeles at Dallas. Okay, wake me up when this game goes to a 0-0 shootout, please. In fact, I recommend you bringing a book to this game if you are going to this game. It's going to be that boring. But, as a quote from Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that. These teams play defense, and sometimes that's a good thing. I personally, there's nothing more that I like to see than a team play solid, consistent defensive hockey, making few stupid mistakes. Those are the teams that you want to, be involved with, teams that you can sort of, quote unquote, predict. So I think it's a team. Both these teams are perfect and always in perfect position defensively. They have 2 outstanding goalies. So I think these are 2 teams that you want to be backing. But at the same time, I think Los Angeles is a superior team here. I think they're an elite team, and I think they have the ability to wear the Stars down over 60 minutes. It's a lot different. This game's a lot different than when you had to lay 180 at home with Los Angeles against New Jersey the other night when they had their backup Bernier in. But now Los Angeles looks like there's some value with them tonight with Quick and net, and just the ability that they're going to be able to slow down this or wear down this Dallas team. So Washington at Edmonton. Believe it or not, Edmonton's the best defensive team in the NHL right now, tied with Los Angeles, giving up only 1.5 goals per game. That's right, Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers giving up 1.5 goals a game. And Washington also back on pace to have another fine year defensively, as they pick it up from last year when they changed their defensive system and playing very having forwards coming back, finally back checking, and playing a good all-around team defensive game. They come in 6th in the NHL, giving up just 2 goals per game. So it's 7-0, the only undefeated team in Washington. Comes to take on Edmonton, who's won 2 straight games. And to be honest, I thought they played well in both games. And as good as Washington's power play has been this season, they may have met their match with Edmonton's penalty kill. So this is a big game, special team wise. Edmonton hasn't given up a power play goal in 5 games, killing off their last 20 penalties. So it's a matchup of Washington's great power play against a great penalty kill of Edmonton. So if the Oilers can keep this high-powered Washington team, at bay on their special teams, and play a good defensive game, I think they still have a shot. I think they have a shot to end the Capitals' run tonight, if they can keep it low scoring. Finally, last game on the card, New Jersey at Phoenix. Another game where you might as well just wake me up when this thing gets to a shootout or overtime. New Jersey coming off a big win in Los Angeles, and I mentioned before that this team is very, very battle-tested, this New Jersey Devil team. They've played by far the toughest schedule to date in the NHL, and they're still holding their own with a 4-3 record, playing grinded-out type hockey, taking advantage of the opportunities when they arise, and just playing smart hockey, staying in games, and having the ability to win them late. As much of a coin flip as this game appears, I'm much more comfortable backing a team like New Jersey than a team like Phoenix, who's lost 3 of their last 4 games, and at times can be wildly inconsistent. So this is a little different game than you're seeing in the Los Angeles Dallas game, where both teams are so good defensively that even though I think Los Angeles can overpower them with their talent, this game with New Jersey and Phoenix, I just think Phoenix doesn't have quite the defensive prowess that New Jersey has to win this. All right, so that's it. I guess we got through all the games. Sorry it was a bit long today. Usually that's what happens when you have 11 games on the card. It gets a little bit longer than the other games. It's kind of math. You got to figure that one out yourself. In closing, I'll give you some free plays for tonight. For the underdogs, I like Winnipeg against Philadelphia. I like Winnipeg catching a goal and a half against Philadelphia as well. And I like New Jersey in the late game against Phoenix. From a total perspective, I like Nashville, Tampa Bay. I think we'll see that game hit at least 5 goals, if not more, in that one. Tomorrow we have 4 games on the board, so I'll see everyone back here tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck and goodbye.